What is up, guys? This is The Broke Executive, and I'm a day late and a dollar short of getting this video out on time. I apologize for that, but there were some technical difficulties, and I've just been really busy with work. That said, we are still doing my October portfolio and dividend review for the month's end, and I'll be going over what stocks I purchased and how my account has done over the past month and all the dividends I received. So with that, we'll just jump right in. So, throughout the month of October, I had a monthly return of $114.40 of capital gains. This equates to a 2.16 return over the past month. And then in terms of dividends, it's one of my lower months, just the way that my dividend calendar falls. I earned $5.22 over the course of the month, which is a monthly yield of about 0.1% and an annualized yield out for 12 months of 1.16. This is actually very low, but considering some of my other months are much higher numbers, it ends up averaging about 3.4% over the course of the whole year. So I'm not too concerned about the lack of dividends being paid this month. In terms of dividend income change year over year, October was the first year in 2019 I actually received a dividend, and that was only 5 cents as compared to my $5.22. We're still looking at over a 10,000% increase. Again, this isn't something I'm going to be constantly seeing ridiculous numbers because my account only had started growing, and I've been fairly aggressively building up this account in the past months in order to better set myself up for a steady growth going forwards. In terms of monthly dividend income growth, you can again see the chart right here. I will remind you guys, if you haven't seen my past videos, that $5.58 was a special dividend paid out. That wasn't something consistent. And this October right here was the first dividend I received, and since then we've been growing. That you can see that it is in fact following this trend line here, and October is one of my lower months. November, I already have more announced than I've ever received looking back. And then throughout December, January, and February, I already have dividends being announced, so those are tracked as well. Now, for my November purchases, I bought these right at market open the second I could at the beginning of the month. I bought one share of Clorox at an average price of $213.25. Clorox's dividend yield is 2.09% and offers a yearly income of $4.44. The reason I got into Clorox is because this is one of those companies that has done spectacularly over the past couple months, and that is mostly in part because they create the cleaning products we've been using nonstop. They also have a very consistent dividend yield growth of over the past 5 years of 6.86%. So I'm looking forward to being able to hold this over the long term and watch that 2.09% dividend yield grow to a much higher level around the 3 to 4% range. I also purchased one share of Coca-Cola to further build up my position. I now own 4 shares. The one I bought at the beginning of this month cost me $48.40. Coca-Cola's dividend yield is 3.34% and pays a yearly income of $1.64 per share. Coca-Cola is one of those staple dividend companies that just any dividend investor knows and likely loves because they have seen such a long growth streak of dividends, and they're still able to grow their dividend at a 5.57% growth over the past 5 years. That is the end of my November purchases, and I'll be going through my October dividends. Many of these companies you will notice come up all the time because they're my monthly dividend payers, and there are a few that are scheduled to pay out their quarterly dividends in October. So, beginning of the month, you can see I had a Coca-Cola dividend of $1.23. That is over my 3 shares, not the 4th one I had just purchased. And then the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index paid out $1.35 over 2 shares. And Pepsi, the other soft drink king of the world, paid out a dividend of $1.02 for my 1 share. Then on the second day of the month, VOO paid out a dividend of $1.31 for 1 share. This is the S&P 500 index that Vanguard offers. And on October 6th, we have my Vanguard bond ETF payout, 14 cents. This is another one of those monthly payers. You see it every single month, every single time, consistently. Then my other 2 bond ETFs paid out for SHI and LQD. I received 4 cents and 29 cents respectively from those on the 7th. On the 15th, I had Stag Industrial pay out their 60-cent dividend. This is another monthly payer, and it's easy money that just comes in every month. I get to see that additional 60 cents over the entirety of the calendar year. They are one of the companies that has already announced dividends into 2021. On the 16th, my other real estate company that pays monthly, O Realty or Realty Income, paid me $1.17 per share. If you remember in my previous video, I did pick up an additional share of O Realty. This dividend does not include that share, and this month, November, I'll be able to see my new dividend amount per year for Realty Income. Then on the final day of the month, I had SPHD. This is my monthly dividend paying ETF. It is PowerShares High Dividend Yield ETF. I own a couple shares of it. It's actually one of my favorite dividend ETFs, and it paid me 44 cents for this month. Next week, I will be going over my top 5 stock picks for beginners. I will include a dividend ETF pick, a growth stock pick, and 3 dividend stocks, individual stocks that I feel any growing dividend account should be at least looking into. Again, I'm not one to be able to officially and legally give advice. This is just my opinions and companies I wish I had either bought sooner or I wish I had bought more of at the time. So with that, that's really all I have in terms of content for how this past month has gone. It's a smaller month in terms of dividend payments, so not a whole lot going on there. Market, as you can see, it was a bit uncertain over the course of the past month and going into November. This was expected as a result of the elections that have just passed. I will not be really diving into any of that because all of my investments are for the long term. I'm not looking in 6 months who's going to be the president and how do I invest accordingly. This is just something I'm buying and holding forever, as close to it as I can. That said, we are well over a year of dividend investing, so this is a fairly accurate chart in terms of my yearly growth, just how my account's doing and the expected return that I'm seeing on top of the dividends that are also coming in. So that 5.25% is actually closer to about 7.5%. Looking forward into this month of November, I am not planning on selling any of my companies regardless of how eventually when we find out who the president's going to be, as I said, and I am going to have to be looking closely and figuring out which sector I will be going into and looking to invest further into come the beginning of December. With that, I want to remind you guys to sign up for Robinhood. I have a referral link below, and you can get 1 free stock. If you sign up for Webull, you can get 2 free stocks worth at a minimum of $8 and up to $1,600 each, which would propel your account further than I was able to in my first couple months. That's why you'll notice the chart is not a very fast moving line. And then when I got serious about investing, you can see there is more volatility because I think you can figure out what happened right around March, which is also when I started to get serious about investing. So not the best timing for me, but as you guys can see, I'm still seeing that growth. If you have any comments or suggestions as to what sectors I should be looking at and even giving my sector deep dives, feel free to comment down below, or you can hop over to the Broke Executive subreddit and feel free to ask me any questions you have there. I am looking to create and grow that community so that we can have open discussions and be able to compare and contrast different accounts. And with that, I'm going to ask you guys to like and subscribe so that I know you guys are excited to see how this account is growing. And with that, I will see you executives in the next video.